Hello everybody, I have a question for you today. How are you aging? So I know it's a topic that we probably don't like to talk about that much, and maybe we don't even like to think of ourselves as a person who is aging or a woman who is aging. But it's the reality of everything that happens to all of us, no matter what age we are. Each and every day that we wake up, we are adding more to who we are. And so there's a better way to look at aging, and that is, what is the wisdom that you're gathering? What is that thing that you can share? What is that thing that you can learn about yourself, about others, and, just really, really embrace this stage of your life. And so here's some of the things that I really noticed as I've been moving through the decades. So, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I felt 10 foot tall and bulletproof, basically. When I got to my 40s, I did start to notice that there were changes happening. Now, at that stage, I probably didn't want to admit it too much. So, but it came crashing down on top of me because I did end up with a health issue that required an operation, which actually meant I ended up in menopause. And so there was a whole host of things then that I had to cope with, and all these various aspects of life and dealing with it. And what can also happen is in those 40s, we start to notice those little aches and pains that creep up. Or we start to notice, we're not as flexible as we were, or there's some action that we're doing, some activity that we're doing, that we're not as strong or not as mobile. But because it's only intermittent and it doesn't happen a lot, we can tend to ignore it, which is what I had been doing. But I knew I wasn't feeling right, and so eventually we found out what was going on. And so that was my 40s. When I got to my 50s, I really did start to notice there were more changes happening in me, even though I didn't want to admit it. There were more changes. And look, now I'm in my 60s as well too. I'm noticing other aspects of what's going on. And so, it's really, really important that we do spend time identifying what we can do, what we can't do, what we're noticing. There really are three critical aspects, because when we tap into those three things, what it means is that we have the opportunity to make some changes, make some adjustments, so that we are as strong and as flexible as we want to be, so we can do all of those things in life that we enjoy. So why am I talking about this topic today? One of the things that happens, when we get into school holidays, I can have, grandkids here staying, or, just chiming in and jumping in and out and calling in from here time to time as well too. And so, one of the visions that I have for myself, for my health and my well-being, is to be the grandmother who's in there, boots and all, participating with everything that's going on, as opposed to the grandmother who has to sit on the sideline and not be able to do things. So, and one of the things that I was actually thinking about the other day, and I scribbled down some notes, and I just want to actually have a look at this, because if you have young grandkids, let's say, up to 18-month-old, they could weigh on average 10 kilos, and once they get to about 3, they're about 16 kilos. Let me just put this in front of me. And then maybe you don't have grandkids, but you've got dogs. A medium-sized dog is anywhere between 11 and 26 kilos. So, depending on the size of dog you have, and if something happened to that dog or something happened to that grandchild, you've got to have the strength to be able to help it. You've got to have the strength to be able to pick it up and do something. You've got to have the flexibility to be able to get up and down. So one of the things that I would ask you today is, can you get up and down off the ground easily? Because it is such an important aspect of it, of living life fully, because if we're not strong enough, we can't do those things that we want to do. If we're not flexible enough, we can't do those things we want to do. And so this morning, I've got two little poppets staying with me, 9 and 7. And then I decided that I would ask two more little poppets who live next door to come with me. So the four of us went off for a mountain hike this morning. And when we got to the mountain, it was closed. There was a sign up and it said, you know, due to, you know, public safety, blah, blah, blah. And so I went, oh, that's okay. We'll go down the road a couple of kilometres and we'll go into the other mountain instead. So off we drove and we got there and another sign, and I went, oh, I wonder if it's because of all the flooding that we've had that the roads have been taken out. And so I said, okay, let's just do a little bit of an explore and see what's going on here. You know, if it's unsafe, then we're going to come back out. But if not, then we're just going to, you know, have an exploring adventure and see what we can see and hear what we can hear. And so we started off, and when we got to the first road crossing, there was water all over it. It was, you know, really taken out from the flooding that we've had. And so, you know, the kids were just like full ball, you know, wanted to get in. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute, let me have a look. So what I was doing is looking down the bank to see where the safest point to get across, you know, to see whether the rocks were slippery enough, too slippery, and to how we could use our footing and support one another to get across that road. So we did that, and then we kept on going. And so, you know, at every point there was a lot of water across the road. It was rushing through, and we ended up having an absolute ball. We didn't worry about the fact that we, you know, got wet shoes, or that, you know, there was a few sprinkles happening, and it was just this huge, huge adventure. But to get in there, we had to climb a really high fence. And so that first footing up was quite a long distance up. Like, it was a big stretch for my legs. So, you know, I had to help boost these kids up. And, you know, they actually said to me, we don't have any other nannies that can do this, you know. You are the only nanny who can do that. And it really, really got me thinking of that moment. Was just a wake-up call for me, because I know that if I want to keep enjoying these moments with these kids, then I need to make sure that I'm staying strong and flexible. And I know what happens is, when we start to notice things happening in our body and we first go to exercise, we can be really scared about it. And because we do have those aches and pains, we can certainly think that we might aggravate those. So as long as you've got that clearance from your doctor that says, yeah, okay, you can go ahead and do it, then you want to make sure that, number one, you don't go off and do it by yourself. Get some support from someone who knows what they're doing, someone who's got the experience and the qualifications and understands what you're going through. So having that support is super critical. The second thing about it is, you want to know that you're going to be able to get the results that you want. So you want to be stronger, you want to be more flexible, and so you want to know that you're going to work with someone who's got those proven track record of being able to get results. And look, I know that we have that at Strong Healthy Women, because it's important to me, and I've been there and I've experienced the things that you would be experiencing. The very first time that I walked into a gym, and I was scared, like crazy scared, because I never exercised in my life. And one of the other important aspects was to actually learn how to start properly with the foundations. And I know that what happens is so often we race off and we go to step 2 or step 3. So we go straight to strength or straight to power, when we want to start with stabilizing and making sure that our body knows how to move and function properly, so that when we start doing the strength aspect of it, that we're not causing ourselves any more aches and pains or injuries. And so I would say to you today, I just want you to think about one thing. As you are getting older, are you admitting it to yourself? I'm getting older. That's the first aspect. You know, just be honest. You don't have to say it out loud. You just go, oh yeah, it's going on. I can feel it. And then the second aspect of it is think about, what can you do now? What can't you do now? And what do you want to do? Okay, so 3 steps in that one. And then if you really want to have a conversation and you want to get started, look, just reach out to myself, Peter, or my team. And what we'll do is we will start a conversation going with you to see how we might be able to help you build that strength, that flexibility that you want to be able to enjoy the grandpuppies or the grandchildren, or even just, you know, be stronger and more flexible for everyday life, so that you can maybe go traveling with your loved ones. Whatever that thing is that you want to do, we're here for you. So take care, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all soon. Hey, bye for now.